Picture the last time you posted something you were proud of: the bag, the ring, the shoes still in the box for the photo. There was a small hit of something warm in your chest, and then, an hour later, it was gone. You already know that feeling. What you might not know is that an entire country built its idea of a good life around avoiding it. In Japan, the things we consider the height of success are often seen as the loudest kind of insecurity, a shortcut to a feeling that was supposed to come from somewhere else. This isn't about money. It's about what you're actually buying when you buy the flex and what you could be buying instead. 1. The logo bag you save for months. You finally hold the bag with the monogram facing out, and for a few days you catch yourself glancing at it on your arm in every reflective surface you pass. Then the newness wears off, and it becomes just a bag again, expensive, recognizable, and strangely silent about who you actually are. In Japan, this instinct runs directly against a principle called shibui, a kind of beauty that reveals itself slowly through restraint, texture, and craftsmanship that doesn't announce itself. A shibui object never shouts. It's the opposite of the logo, which exists entirely to be read from across a room. The Western flex fails here because it outsources the compliment. You're not admired for taste, you're admired for spending power, and other people's eyes become the whole point of the object. Its alternative is disarmingly simple. Choose the unmarked leather, the plain canvas, the piece whose quality only reveals itself up close to someone who touches it, not just sees it. Next time you're drawn to a logo, ask what you're really trying to say and try saying it in a material instead of a symbol. A full-grain leather tote with no branding costs less than the monogrammed version and will age into something more beautiful, not less relevant. This is the first swap worth making, but the next one goes even deeper into how we measure love itself. 2. The diamond somewhere. Someone is holding up a ring to the light, tilting it to catch the sparkle for a photo, checking the carat weight before checking how it feels on her hand. The size of the stone becomes a stand-in for the size of the commitment: bigger diamond, deeper love, or so the story goes. Japan's design philosophy offers a steady correction here through wabi-sabi, the appreciation of the imperfect, the modest, the things that show their age honestly instead of performing flawlessness. A wabi-sabi object isn't trying to dazzle you into forgetting to look closer. Here's where the Western version falls apart. It measures a relationship by a metric that has nothing to do with the relationship clarity grades and carat counts are numbers assigned by strangers, not memories built by two people. The Japanese instinct is to choose the ring or the object or the gift that tells your specific story, a stone with a natural inclusion, a setting handmade by someone whose name you actually know, a piece with texture instead of maximum shine. Try this the next time you're choosing something meant to represent a relationship. Ask what the object says, not what it costs. A smaller, more considered piece will mean more in 10 years than a larger one ever could, because meaning doesn't sparkle, it accumulates. And accumulation, it turns out, is exactly where the next brand goes wrong. 3. The hype sneaker and alarm goes off at 9 a.m. Sharp, you refresh the page 4 times before it loads, and if you get the pair, you don't even wear them, you keep the box, because wearing them would lower the resale value. The sneaker was never really about your feet. Japan's answer to this is shoken in the spirit of the craftsperson who dedicates a lifetime to one skill, refining it patiently instead of chasing what's new. A shokunin-made shoe is valued for the decades of hands behind it, not the hours since its release. Hype, though, has an expiration date built in, and that's exactly the problem. Today's must-have colourway is next year's shelf warmer. And the value was never in the object, it was in the timing, which you don't control and can't keep. Japan values the opposite instead, a single well-made pair, resold rather than replaced. Chosen for how it will look in 5 years rather than 5 days. Shift one purchase this month from what's dropping to what's built to last. A leather shoe from a small maker who has spent 30 years learning the craft will still be respectable long after this season's hype has been forgotten. Once you stop chasing the object, you start noticing how much of the flex was never about ownership at all. It was about being seen, owning it. Which brings us to the way we've turned even our coffee into a stage. 4. The oversized order the drink has 6 modifiers and a name longer than the receipt, photographed before the ice has even settled, because somehow the coffee became less about the coffee and more about the evidence that you had it. In Japan, the counterpoint lives quietly in the kisaten, a small, old-style coffee house where a single cup is made slowly, by hand and drunk in near silence, often alone, often for 20 unhurried minutes with no phone in sight. A kisaten visit isn't content, it's a pause. Somewhere along the way, that moment of rest turned into a performance of busyness and abundance instead. The bigger the order, the more it says, look how much I can afford to consume. Which is a strange thing to want a hot drink to communicate. The Japanese ritual treats coffee as exactly that, a ritual, not a prop one cup, made well, given full attention, savoured instead of documented. Order the smallest size tomorrow, put the phone face down, and give the drink your full attention for the 5 minutes it takes to finish it. You'll likely notice the coffee actually tastes like something, which is easy to miss when you're too busy proving you're drinking it. If a 5-minute ritual can hold this much meaning, imagine what happens when we apply the same restraint to the roof over our heads. 5. The sprawling house bigger is the story lately, another bedroom nobody sleeps in, a living room too large to ever feel warm. Square footage that exists mainly to be mentioned. Somewhere along the way, more space became shorthand for more successful, even though most of that space sits empty most of the year. Japan's architecture is shaped instead by the deliberate use of negative space, the idea that what you leave empty is as important as what you fill. A home built with in mind is small on purpose, every room earning its place, nothing existing just to be walked past. The Western flex fails here because size becomes the achievement instead of the feeling a 5-bedroom house can feel colder than a 1-room apartment if none of the rooms hold anything you love. A sharper question guides the Japanese version instead. Does this space serve a real moment in your day, or is it there to be seen by guests 4 times a year? Try walking through your own home this week and naming what each room is actually for. If you can't answer, that room isn't it's just square footage. A smaller home, thoughtfully arranged, will hold more comfort than a large one built for impressions. And once every room in your house has a reason to exist, you start asking the same question of everything else you own. None of these 5 things are really about the bag, the ring, the shoes, the coffee, or the house. They're about a single question hiding underneath all of them. Are you choosing this because it serves your life, or because it performs one? Japan's answer isn't poverty dressed up as philosophy, it's the quiet confidence of people who stopped needing an audience to know something was worth having. You don't need to sell your things or swear off nice ones, you just need to ask, before the next purchase, who you're really buying it for. Start there, and you'll notice the things that were never about you become permanently easier to let go of. If even one of these ideas changed the way you think, let me know in the comments which one will you try first.